What it do, PML family? It's your main man, drama man, coming to y'all live with my homeboy Q. Q, shout out to people, man.
What's good? It's your boy Q as always. We back here queuing the drama up, so I'm excited to be back on the airwaves. So let's get into it, brother.
For sure, man. Y'all know what it is. This is the PML grind, man. You know what I'm saying? This is y'all can look forward to this being the bridge between the end of the week. We're gonna wrap up everything that transpired here in week 3, and we project and forecast what's coming around the corner in week 4. So first and foremost, Q man, as I go through the games, what was something that surprised you this week? Or was there a game that you saw this week that kind of you were surprised by the result, or seen something that maybe is going to add to your game, or is going to be interesting to look forward to going through the rest of the season?
No, it was definitely a game that stands out to me. But before I get into that game, just to throw a little drama in there, uh, it was very interesting to see the Pats and the Bills user, Nat and KMFO, kind of, take advantage of the CPU when they played their games and, kind of surpass those stats. And, we kind of saw them get, I guess in the rules, it says that you'll get a warning, but we kind of saw Mike get a ban with his tight end. And I don't know, that just kind of didn't sit right for me the entire week. And speaking of that, his game against Cookie Boy did not sit well with me here in week 3. Just completely dominating Cookie Boy and the Lions, 56-3. And I didn't get a chance to watch this game at all, but I feel like it didn't get talked about enough. I'm not sure what's going on with Cookie Boy this season. After he missed the playoffs last season, he had the good game against the Packers, the newer user, and I thought, okay, Cookie's out to get his revenge. This is Cookie revenge year. He's gonna go crazy. Then he gets blown out by Z Star, and then he gets I don't even know if this is a blowout domination, anal, no lube, whatever you want to call it, against the Patriots, a team that he faced off with year 1 in the Super Bowl. And he's saying he's just not that good. I don't know if it's more to it than that. I don't know if he doesn't care, but 9 turnovers to that Patriot defense. And I didn't get to watch it. I'm just looking at the stats here, but you actually commentated that game, that 4 a.m. game. So
Yeah.
please give me a little breakdown on what happened there.
Okay, so I did commentate this game, and I thought that it was a must-win for Cookie, and if not a must, if he didn't win, he definitely needed to have a good showing just to give him some confidence, and it was completely everything that Cookie Boy did not need in week 3. He came out, he played, had a good drive. The first drive, he came downfield, and on the first drive, he ran it on the third and like 9 in the red zone instead of just taking it down and kicking the field goal. He tried to run it with Cam Newton and fumbled the ball. And from there, it just all spiraled out of control. The Patriots drove downfield, scored quickly, took advantage of the Lions' slow defense. And then from there, Cookie just really got out of his game. He allowed the Patriots to dictate what plays he ran on offense. As you all know, Cookie had 9 turnovers. We see here Cam Newton threw 3 interceptions. He brought Stafford in. Stafford threw 3 interceptions. And then he had 4 fumbles. You know what I'm saying? And these fumbles was bad. They were ugly, all in the middle of the field after a catch, after a run. 2 of his receivers fumbled, his running back fumbled, and Cam Newton fumbled. And Cookie just really, man, playing scared, bro. I don't know if he hasn't been playing the game much. I don't know if he's just, not in the groove, but he's playing like somebody who's not confident, playing like someone who's afraid to just run his plays. You know what I'm saying? And I think that really I think it's more of the league has caught up to Cookie rather than Cookie not being good. You know what I'm saying? Cookie's still the
Right.
same Cookie. He's still playing the same game, but we've caught on to that, and it just ain't working no more. You know what I'm saying? And so he's going to definitely, because you can't say he's not doing content. You can't say he's not boosting his players up. He's just not playing well. And being in that division, in that NFC North, he's getting exposed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's playing against the Z Stars. He's playing against the LQ Nobles. He's playing against, the Packers haven't done anything, but that division is stacked against all of the top divisions in the league this year. And so for Cookie, it's going to continue to be ugly until he goes back to the drawing board and retools his attack. But he's sitting at 0-3 right now. No, he's sitting at 1-2. Z Stars at the top of the division, but he has to play the other AFC East teams, and he has to play the NFC East teams, and so none of those, that's 8 games that are not walks in the park. Not to mention he got to play the Vikings twice and he got to play the Bears twice. So Cookie very well, if he don't get it together, man, could have a very, very ugly finish to the season and end up with a top pick, a top 5 pick if he don't really get it together.
Yeah, and with Cookie starting off the season 1-2, I think it kind of puts that in the air. Is the NFC North really the second best division in PML, even with the way the Bears are playing? Is the North really second, or have the NFC East kind of dove into that second place division or that second string division as far as being one of the top divisions in PML? So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Cookie Boy finishes the season. Hopefully he can get it together, but just looking at that schedule, it doesn't really get too easy for him until probably week 16 and week 17.
Yeah.
Really going to be playing some tough games there. So I think if he can pull off some wins against the AFC East, against the NFC East, and just kind of keep his composure, he'll have 2 easy wins at the end of the season. But, I mean, we've seen him kind of lose to some teams he should beat, in our opinion. So maybe those won't be easy games again for him at the end of the season. But, who knows? Any game for you, I kind of pointed out that Lions-Patriots game.
Yeah.
Any game for you that kind of just, stood out outside of your own game?
Well, actually, you made a perfect segue into the game that surprised me this week, which involved 2 NFC East opponents, and it was you toppling the Washington football team. Now, I believe this is your first win against the football team. Am I correct?
No, I actually beat him last season, the second time we played. We disconnected with like 10 seconds left. The game was tied, and we had that little glitch. But I was on like the 2-yard line, about to kick the field goal. So he just kind of gave me the force there. But every time we played this season, except probably one game where he beat me by like 20, it's been close games. It's been 1 or 3 point wins. So me getting that win was big. Starting 3-0, that's probably the best I ever started in PML, honestly. And going against a divisional rival, that's always a tough game. And he played a hell of a game. I mean, it was back and forth the entire game. I'm just looking over the scores. I mean, almost all of the stats pretty much look identical. And so even down to the time of possession. So, shout out to him. But we just was able to win on Saquon Barkley. 22 attempts for 148 yards on 3 touchdowns. And, I think that's just going to be, if it's not clear, looking at Daniel Jones' stats over the last 3 games, we just going to lean on the workhorse. We paying him. We are about to pay him some good money. And I think we just kind of took those 2 first years to kind of develop Jones, get him where we wanted him to be at, because we didn't have to develop Saquon. And so, now it's going to be the Saquon show. And it's hard to stop when you plan that. It's hard to stop when you got one of the, if not the best backs in the league, trying to stop that every down. And our defense didn't play bad as well. So I was happy with the outcome. Shout out, of course, shout out to the Washington football team.
Yeah.
They won the NFC champ game. So I have a ton of confidence. Unfortunately, I got a bye week next week, and I feel like that's going to kill the momentum. I really did not want to have my bye week this early if I was in the groove like I am now. Probably like week 7 to 8, I wanted a break. But, we just going to sit back, relax, look into our next opponent and see what happens. And I will say it's very interesting just how close these games are in the division and how, one game can put you in or out of the playoffs. So I think all these wins early, I expected. I'm not gonna say what I expected from other players until we talk about those games if we bring them up. But I think some of the cats that's starting 0-3, 1-2. It's so hard when you dig yourself into that hole to come back out. So I'm just happy we did a great job this year, starting off 3-0, taking it down a divisional rival. And I mean, it's nothing much more to say to that. Of course, we trying to win the division this year. That's our goal. If we don't win the division, if we don't go to the playoffs, it was basically just a fail for us this season. So we're not trying to fail. And that's pretty much it for that. So since we talked about my game, you know, being able to get it done against the football team, the game that I feel like also shocked everybody, and it shocked me, is your game against the Texans. And I watched that game, and I just saw you play, in my opinion, a style of offense that I never really saw you play here in PML since I've never seen you make Gardner Minshew go 5 touchdowns for 318 yards with a 138 QB rating. And that's just not really your playing style. Like, you know, you put your plays in there, but, you know, it's a lot of play action, a lot of runs up the middle, some outside runs, just kind of a methodical offense. So to see you kind of, you know, take advantage of the defense that Fallen was playing, I just want to know, was it, you know, a game time decision for you to be like, you know what, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to air it out? Did you just give what he took? I mean, did you just take what he gave you, or did you just kind of did it just kind of happen that way? You just kind of felt like everything worked in your favor? Like, was it a game plan for the way you attacked Fallen and getting this win that pretty much shocked everybody, 56-28?
Well, I definitely game planned going into the game to, you know, I wanted to establish certain things offensively, and I felt like I would be able to take advantage of T.J. Watt not being in the game, J.J. Watt not being in the game. I figured I would be able to, if I could limit him defensively from being able to get over the top, I felt like we could handle everything underneath, and I was able to execute that game plan to perfection. Now, in terms of my offense, I'm at a place with this team where I feel like I have the most weapons that I've had on any roster since I've been in PML, offensively and defensively. For me to have been able to make the move to get Claypool playing the tight end position, for me to have the wide receiver weapons that I have.
Hey, did you change your overlay?
Yeah, I changed it. Yeah, I saw the chat.
Okay,
That's what I meant. I meant to say, hey, shout out to the chat for letting me know that, you know what I'm saying, I had it all with the big fist all in the middle of the goddamn page. So I appreciate y'all hollering at me. I swapped it over about when you was in the middle of talking about your game. You know what I'm saying? But for me to have Juju Smith-Schuster, to have these tight ends, and everybody, they criticize and they wonder what the hell is he doing with all these tight ends. But, you know, having the versatility that I have with these tight ends, and the running back that I have, you know what I'm saying, really the backs, because Jalen Samuel's been getting it in. I'm really in a position to play a ball control type of game to where I just got to don't turn the ball over on offense and then let my defense get on the field and just let them go to work. You know what I'm saying? And so the game against Fallen and the Texans really giving me a lot of confidence in my ability to execute my game plan. And I plan every game going forward to have a game plan, to have in my mind, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to attack. If this is my first option, if he takes this away, this is going to be the secondary plan. And, you know, right now with this team positioned the way that they are, there's no reason for me not to, you know, be able to really make some noise in the AFC. And so it was a big test against Fallen. He's somebody I haven't beaten. You know what I'm saying? First season, it came down to the last play. He got the play action down the middle to beat me with no time on the clock. Last season, we missed a chance to be able to play each other in the playoffs, but coming here in the third game after losing big, you know what I'm saying, to the Bengals, it was definitely a necessary win. And so I think y'all should expect to see a lot more of what I did to Fallen against some of my other big-time opponents coming up. Definitely the ones in my division. I got game plans for them, but even some of the...
That's a big statement. That's a big statement. I like that.
Sure.
I like that confidence. We all need that drama man confidence. And just one quick thing before we get away from that game. The thing that kind of surprised me is I know Texans starting off, they didn't have one of the best run defenses, but they acquired a lot of pieces on that defense, like Bradley Chubb, building up, I can't think of his name, building up Jacob Martin to a superstar and things like that. So just to see you kind of have your way running the ball against them and passing the ball against them, and then the ability to stop Javian Hawkins and just holding him to 30 yards
30
all
yards on
game.
like 14 carries. He kept running
Yeah.
with him, and we kept stopping that shit too.
I just think that's impressive. I think it's definitely some kudos to that. But I think what everybody's saying, and I somewhat agree with them, just because how it kind of went down season one for you. We want to see you keep doing it. We
For
want to see
sure.
you keep being great. We want to see you keep having this confidence to coming through on it. So I think, in my opinion, personally, I think if you keep playing how you played against that Texans team, how you played great defense, you had a solid offense on both running and passing, you made good reads, and you played a hell of a football game. I think if you keep playing like that, everything that you're talking about right now is going to come true, and you're going to win that division because outside of the Ravens, I feel like it's a toss up between you two guys. HD has been playing better this season, but he hasn't really had any marquee wins. He's played, I believe, the Bengals, the Jets, and somebody else I can't remember. So it'll be interesting to see when those division games starts. I think everybody's right now just setting themselves up for those big division games.
Yeah.
So again, big win for you there. And one more game I wanted to touch on was, and then because I had one more point to get to, is Z Star and the Vikings going up against the Packers in Green Bay. We saw Z Star basically start that game off 7-28,
Yeah.
7-28 against Green Bay, and it looks like the Packers was gonna run away with it. And I had all the faith in Z Star that he was gonna still win, and he definitely came through and pulled it off. Do you think that the Packers is the real deal? Because he has had some close games, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's not built for longevity. I don't know. I think it's weird when you get into PML because I seen his game against HD. No, not HD. It was somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but I seen his game too, and I thought he had some great, just passing plays. He made some good reads, but it seems like he doesn't really have that mentality to win. It's a difference between being able to pass and score. And I think that's what it took me a couple seasons to realize starting out. But it's a difference in actually playing the clock, knowing when to run the ball, knowing when to set up your plays. Because it got to a point where we just knew he was passing every down. And Z-Car was kind of able to just, he was just kind of able to, we know Z-Star for his decent. So he was able to clue in on that and, make that comeback. So how long do you think it takes before the Packers actually, just kind of, I will say, adapt a sim-like play style? I think that's what it comes down to in PML and winning games, is being able to adapt a sim play style because it's the longevity. You got 40 minutes. How long do you think it takes for him to learn that? And if he does learn that, do you think he still has a chance to win, to win that division or even go to the playoffs?
Well, here's the thing. For the Packers, he's in the enviable position of coming into a league in a top division with the schedule that they have this year. Now, watching this game play, I didn't see anything that was not sim about the way he played. I just think he's relying on the strengths of his team. He did a lot of screen passes to the running back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of quick throws, a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of comeback routes, a lot of curls. You know what I'm saying? Things where he could basically identify what the zone was and then find the open spot. The different thing about PML is that these guys in here are actually watching film. We're actually studying. We're keying in on the things that you do and that you like to do. And so you're going to have to develop versatility to your offense. So his first game was against the Lions. He lost that one. He lost to the Bills, but that was a computer game. I think this game against Z-Star was a wake-up call for him that this is a league where once you show a guy something once or twice, you can't go back to it because he's sitting on it. And so I think he'll
Yeah.
adapt and he'll develop, some versatility to his offense, or he's going to be in big trouble because coming up on his schedule, he has a bye week, but then he has the Bears, the football team, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Lions again. I don't see him getting a win until week 10. And if he's a guy who has tough skin, if he's a guy who's a winner, he's going to get tired of losing, bro. He's going to get sick and fed up of just getting blown out. And he's going to say, all right, man, I need to focus in and do what these cats is doing, which is to study and practice and learn how to play my game be more versatile so I can go ahead and get me some W's.
And what's crazy as you said, that was the point that I was making going into this game. I don't feel like it was that much preparation on Z Star's end playing them. I know they said some things in the chat that they had trouble scheduling, so maybe he didn't know he was going to play them. But I've just been watching games, and it's people saying that they watch tape, but it don't look like they watching tape. Because some teams, and I'm not going to say the game I watched or the teams that I watched because it doesn't matter, but some teams do the same play. I run the same plays. And I can tell when somebody's watched tape on me because they adjust their defense before I even snap the ball.
Exactly.
If it's somebody in my division, there's no way I do not know their go-to plays. There's no way I do not know their money plays. There's no way I do not want to do. I don't know what they're going to do in this situation. It's just, can I stop it?
Yeah.
And I watch so many games of people that, you know, are trying to claim they're trying to be better, claim they're watching tape or they're grinding, they're doing this, and you don't even know your divisional rival money plays. I know what he's about to run, and I haven't even played this man yet.
Yeah.
But you don't know what he's going to do. You still falling for the same motion fade or what, just using that example, you still falling for that. And I think if people watch tape, it's not necessarily just watching tape, it's watching it the correct way. What I do is I kind of, you know, read the formations and, okay, this is what he likes to do in this formation. So I will just take away whatever he gets the most yards with out of that formation. I'll take that away. I'm going to take that away no matter how many times you come out in for that formation. I'm going to take away your bread and butter out of that formation. And when you do that, it makes people, okay, I got to open my playbook. Okay, I'm going to take this check down. Okay, now that play's gone.
Yeah.
Now I just took away what could have been a 25-yard game. You got 5 yards. I can live with that. I can keep playing. So I think if people kind of know what they're looking for in tape and make their game plan around the big plays and just being better aware situational, I think they'll have a lot more success because it's not too many people that's just really opening their playbook that much in 40 plays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been wanting to get that off my chest for a while because I just be watching these games like, you knew that. If you didn't know that was coming, then I don't know what you've been doing for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's the thing. Being a new guy coming into this league, that's the learning curve, you know what I'm saying, that cats gotta get themselves acclimated to, because you playing against cats who are studying, who seeing everything you're doing, and they keying in on it. And so that stuff that you run in them other leagues, that stuff you run in MUT that gets you by is not gonna get you by here, player, because we ain't sweet over here. You feel what I'm saying? And so it definitely puts a burden on new users to get up to speed. And in most leagues, and me and you in other leagues, you might have 3 or 4 games that's sweet. You can just practice and try different things, but then you have those guys who you play and you know, okay, I gotta be ready for this cat. Well, PML is a league full of guys like that. PML is a league full of dudes who you gotta prepare for and study and know what they like and look at their team and their roster, see what their strengths are, know what you need to take away, or else you're gonna get abused and taken advantage of. And so, you know, the only guy I feel like who came in this league and didn't have to suffer that abuse is KMFO, you know what I'm saying, with the Buffalo Bills. And we just sat and watched him win the game against win a game against King Mike, you know what I'm saying? But he's a guy who's used to being that guy.
I don't know if that's disrespectful. I don't know if that's disrespectful.
King Mike, my bad, bro. King Mike, bro. I ain't mean to disrespect Mike like that. My disrespect for Mike is reserved to the chat, man. Outside the chat, man.
Mike, my guy. Shout out King Mike. Mike, my guy. We got King Mike, we got Hype Mike, and we got Baby Mike. So we got 3 mics right now.
We got 3 mics, you know what I'm saying? But
back to what you were saying with KMFO.
We just watched Buffalo get a game against, you know what I'm saying, King Mike. But you know, to the Bills' credit, he's a guy who's used to playing at this level. He's a guy who's used to studying his opponents and preparing for the games. And so that's why he's been able to hit PML, coming to PML and hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? But, like, again, he's another guy. Mike was keying in on some of the stuff he was doing. Mike got 3 interceptions off of him. He ain't really somebody that turns the ball over, but Mike, having played him, having watched film, knowing what he liked, he was able to take some things away, you know what I'm saying? And so playing in this league, man, you're going to have to get used to that level of attention to detail and focus and game planning around what it is you like to do, and you have to be able to adjust on the fly. You have to be able to, you know, really play a thinking man's game, because we don't play Madden football the way everybody does.
Yes, sir. And I agree 100% with that. And I hope next week when we come in here and we talk about this, since I'm got a bye week, hopefully we will be talking good things about you and what you're going to be doing next week going up against the Browns. This is a big game against HD. I don't. I think this will be our last topic before we get out of here. But I don't know if you want to talk about it. I'll kind of give my input on it.
Well, yeah. Well, before you talk about it, I just want to say, HD had a big win against the Jets this week. The Jets was coming off of that comeback win against the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? For HD, it was his first test against the AFC East opponent, and it came down to the wire. But HD was able to, you know what I'm saying, come up with a big win. And to me, that was a big test for him because of the type of it was okay. It was a test because of the skill of the coaching that's over there in New York with the Jets. But he played against someone who didn't really have a team that was up to par or a team that could compete with his. It's going to be, interesting to see how HD going forward is able to compete against the teams who are built up to compete against his team. You know what I'm saying? But having said that, in this league, you have to win the games that you're supposed to win. And that was definitely a game based on paper that HD was supposed to win, and he came out and got the W. And so, you know what I'm saying? He got me next week. We'll see how he responds and how he holds up there. But it was a big win for him, beating the Jets and making a good showing against the AFC East opponent last week.
I agree. I don't think he's really played outside the Jets and maybe the Bengals. He beat the Falcons by 7. He beat the Bengals by 1, beat the Jets by 3. He's had a lot of close games. And just going based off what you said, he hasn't really played anybody with a stellar team. So I think that defense, that front seven of the Steelers is definitely going to be a challenge for him next week. And I think we'll really see if this 2-1 start by HD is for real or, if he's going to make a run for the division this year or if it's just, the luck of the draw with the teams he faced because he's been talking crazy. He's been talking crazy to everybody. It's like with every season, HD, if he's positive, if he has a winning record, he is a completely different HD. He talking shit to the Super Bowl champ. He talking shit to anybody that says anything. The first thing he's going to say is something about his 2-1 record to back up what he's saying. And, I had no problem with that, but can you back it up on the field? And he's talked so much shit to you over the past couple of weeks. I feel like this is a grudge match, and this is why we created this division for games like this. And that's what I love so much about PML. And I just think the way you're playing right now and just looking over the scores and the stats for HD over these last couple of games, he hasn't played bad. He has a great little, mixture of offense and defense. Baker Mayfield's doing a lot better. He's sharing the ball very well against Kareem Hunt and Nicholas Chubb. So I think it'll be, how do I want to put this? It'll go as far as HD takes it in the sense of at some point, something's going to happen that I feel like he's either going to give up and give in and just start throwing picks out of frustration or he'll make it go down to the wire. I don't think it'll be a blowout for him. I definitely favor the Steelers in this game. I just think it's just so much. I think the front seven will be able to stop the run very well, and I think it'll force HD to pass. But if he uses Odell, if he uses Landry, Austin Hooper at the tight end spot, he can definitely have a chance. But I just think it's going to be more of a mental game for him. And I don't know. How did you guys fare last season as far as your record against each other?
Last season, I believe I beat him in both games. But he had some personal things he was dealing with, so he wasn't really playing like himself. But I definitely feel like he's locked in now. He's, like I said, he got the roster. He built his guys up. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at his stats so far this season, Baker Mayfield has 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? On 66%. He's running the ball with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They both getting their carries. But he's really doing his damage throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? Landry, Peoples-Jones, Odell Beckham as we look at the stats leaders for the team. And so it's just, like you said, it comes down to focus. He's the type of guy, if he's locked in and focused, he can have a close game. But if he gets, behind early, if he makes some mistakes, it could lead to him just, like you said, giving up, being frustrated. He do things like, kick an onside kick to start the second half, or go
Yeah,
for it on
right, right.
fourth and 5 on his 30-yard
Right.
line. You know what I'm
Definitely
saying? And when you
HD.
get him playing like that, you know, okay, all right, this is going to be easy if I just lock in
Right.
and play my game. He's frustrated, and so that's what we'll look to do. Frustrate him with the front seven. You know, so I ain't gonna give away the game plan, but we're gonna see.
Right,
We'll
right. I
see
don't
if
want you to do that.
yeah, we'll see if HD is if he's up to the task. I mean, it's a big game for both of us. 2-1 in the division, trying to hold court with the Ravens trying to run away with the division at 3-0, and so it's gonna be a big game for both of us. Now,
And
speaking of some big games in the division, we had a couple interdivisional matchups this week that were big. Go ahead and take a look at a couple of them. The Cowboys was able to get a win over the Chicago Bears, which dropped the Bears to 0-3. So quietly, while we talk about Cookie and his 1-2
yeah,
record, a lot of people being
yeah.
mute about Noble going 0-3, and it could get a lot worse for Noble. You know what I'm
And
saying?
I've been watching his games, and Nobles. I don't think he's not made the playoffs since he joined PML.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he first joined and he had the Buccaneers, and that was actually my first cycle too. I think he made the playoffs. I know he made the playoffs every year last year, and then he made the playoffs the last 2 seasons. So, him starting off 0-3 is very concerning. And I will say, you can only do the same thing so much and then not have the skill behind doing it. And not the skill of him, but the skill of his players.
Mm-hmm.
He has to get that team better.
Mm-hmm.
When you got guys, like I said, doing content, they're getting coordinators, they're getting training camps. I mean, we're talking about 60 points in coordinators.
Yeah.
That is a big difference. I see the difference in my team every week I play now.
Yeah.
Just how they react to the ball. And if you do not, I don't think this year in PML is not the time where you can just get away with not doing content just because of how the game plays. It's a lot more mental. It's a lot more football than just stick skill gameplay. So if he keeps losing and he loses his confidence next week against the Bills and he goes 0-4, I really don't know what to tell you because it does not get any easier.
Yeah. And so it could be, like I said, it could be a case of guys who were riding high last cycle, man. They're getting a rude awakening. You know what I'm saying? Getting a dose of reality. And going forward, if we maintain this level of competition in the league, it's not like next cycle is going to be any easier, bro, or any sweeter for you. You feel what I'm saying? So
right.
Guys like Noble, who shined in a division where he was playing against subpar competition. No disrespect to everybody else in the NFC South last season, but they just weren't on Q's level. You put him in a division with guys that's on his level, and he barely gets it in the playoffs the first 2 seasons, and then the third one he's looking on the outs. I mean, he got the Bills, Packers, Jets, Patriots, Lions, Bucks, Packers, Giants, Vikings. It's rough. He ain't making the playoffs, bro. He's not making the playoffs, and so where do we go from here? But that was a big game that he lost this week, going up against the Cowboys. Other games that were important, Carolina pulled out a last-second victory against the Falcons to keep them at 1-2. You know what I'm saying? The South is another division you don't want to get too far behind because Tampa Bay is just on a tear with that rookie quarterback. The Saints were able to get a win over the 49ers to maintain their standing in the division. You know what I'm saying? Chargers is running away with the AFC West. The NFC West is going to be contentious and probably come down to, whoever's able to eke out some wins. But there's a lot of drama going on in the PML. And so looking forward to next week. Of course, we covered the game that I had with the Browns. A lot of big name teams are on a break. You know what I'm saying? But looking forward to next week, I think the big time games to look out for next week are going to be the Eagles at the Bucks.
Yeah.
We got Burn facing off against Deloitte. Both of them are 3-0. Honestly, the Colts at the football team. I think it's going to be a big game. I think football team is going to got something to prove there. You got the Titans and the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Bubba coming through. He can't get too far behind in that AFC South.
Nah, Bubba's done.
You
I
think
don't even
Bubba's
want to
done?
speak. Bubba's done. When he lost that playoff game against KMFO, and these first 3 games this season, he has not looked good. He has not looked like his old self. He says he's busy, and I believe that because I can tell he's not watching tape. He's
Yeah.
just going in there and playing. He doesn't care. He leaned on that man defense and all of that speed for a very long time. But as people's teams adapt and they get used to what you're doing, if you don't care and if you don't, the best example I can give is last cycle, season 5. I cared the first 4 seasons I made the playoffs. Season 5, I stopped caring.
Mm-hmm. Q, did I lose you?
Look at these stats. You didn't go watch this game. It's just not going to be very productive for you. So I think the Chargers is going to run away with this game, honestly. And I think we will see the Titans probably finish like, I want to say 6-10, 5-11 maybe. Okay. I just don't think he's here with this season. I think after those 3 losses, he's just kind of going to call it quits. But it might surprise me. I don't think it's going to surprise me as much as this Cowboys vs Vikings game, though. That's the one I'm going to be looking at.
That's another big game. Both of them 3-0. Both of them sit atop their division. Definitely, 2 powerhouses in the NFC, and so maybe this game will be a good measuring stick to see, which division truly is the number 2 division in the PML. Of course, the number 1 division being the AFC East with all of the competition and the beast that they got going on out there. But it's gonna be interesting to see what Week 4 brings us, man. Like I said, this was the transition from Week 3 to Week 4. Q and drama. Cue the drama for PML Week 3, man. We appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us, and we'll check back in with y'all at the end of next week to review what the drama that Week 4 brings to the PML. Q, appreciate you riding with me, man. Holler at the people, let them know what's up before we get out of here.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Watch that tape, because if you don't watch that tape, we will know. Everybody, good luck next week. I hope all your players stay healthy. I am on the bye week, so I will just be sitting back talking my shit in the chat. And thanks for listening. Till next week, stay blessed.
All right, folks.